I am still crying from that episode of Doc. We're somewhat back in the swing of doing our debriefs, and I'm catching up on episodes 7 and 8 of season 2 of Doc. So if you've watched them and want to chat about it, hang out. If you aren't ready, save this and come back to it. But otherwise, let's dive in. I really appreciate the balance of how we're doing the comedic moments, but also with patients that we actually care about when it comes to these stories, because it's one of the things I feel like the show medically that I watched last was probably House, and there's so many new patients, there's so many puzzles to solve. Actual people side of it can get really lost in the dramatics and the puzzle solving and all of those elements of things. This week we really moved into the depth of the story between the two back to back, but also this season they've really gone with the heavy hitters. We've had a lot of things that just need some really massive trigger warnings. We've had shootings, we've had domestic violence, we've had eating disorders. We aren't pulling any punches, but I don't know how well we're preparing people to watch these episodes, and that kind of worries me a smidge. I know that everybody kind of has their pairings of where they want people, but I find it so fascinating, but also just really interesting to watch Michael and Amy co-parent and how healthily they're kind of doing that, and the joint efforts to create this untraditional, but maybe even more traditional than what used to be a traditional family, kind of exists and going through it. It's so healthy to kind of see that process, but I have to say there are those little gray areas where, you know, Michael's not explicitly telling his wife certain things because maybe she feels threatened by the aspect of it. There's like all of the ways in which people aren't necessarily lying, or they're just not communicating the ads in those deeper elements. So kind of communicates unspoken things that are happening within the boundaries, or just these like different friendship or relationship dynamics, because Jake had multiple opportunities to key in Sonia to what's going on, but he didn't have that space of safety and emotional intimacy with her. And obviously he has that with Amy, and the flashbacks that we got this week were so good. They're doing a good job at making sure that we know the flashbacks are just like things for us versus Amy having her memories. I don't know how long we can kind of do this Dr. Clark situation. I find it so interesting that he's only in that gap, so she doesn't remember him at all. But at the same time, I hate a miscommunication trope. And the fact that like all of these things that could potentially happen, this woman is going to have to be punished for, even though she didn't really deserve it. And I could go on a tangent about a man misleading his children or not letting them believe a certain thing, and now suddenly somebody else is paying the price for it. All caught up now. It was beautiful. It was emotional. I struggle completely whenever we have a father episode because I've lost mine. So this one was more intense for me, but I feel like we're really diving into the depths of the character development. I love that for us as we're watching the series.